Elevator Pitch is back. Yes, the podcast is still recording. Try number 2 of the night.
Yep.
But we don't need to get into that.
Nope.
This is the Tanner Choice episode. You know what that means. It means it was his birthday last week.
And when this comes out, maybe 2.5 weeks.
2.5 weeks, but nobody's counting. Nobody really knows your birthday, Tanner, obviously.
Cares. I was kind of counting.
And we pitched OJ last year. We're doing Alec Baldwin this year. That's distasteful.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cut that out. I actually didn't even mean it that way. It's just like a tick I have. I'm sorry.
We got to talk about.
I forgive you.
Who was that? Is that Alec? Is he in the elevator?
Yeah, that actually kind of works.
All right. Well, see, we're making amends.
Who were you going to say before that, though? Who was it?
I was going to say Will's grandpa just because it sounded like a ghost.
I knew it.
I forgive you.
Yeah. Anyway.
Papa.
I'm here with Will,
Yeah,
as
hey.
always. And
I've already ruined the episode.
You really did a number. Our legal fees now are through the roof.
Jesus Christ.
You have a lawyer now, though.
I have a lawyer for car accidents.
Yeah, Will got a new car this week.
I did.
1-800-ME.
1-800-HIRE-ME to be your lawyer. It's a long number.
But before we get to Alec Baldwin, because
Yeah.
we're going to talk about him in 1997 and Malice and Hunt for Red October
His 90s.
and The Getaway, a little bit of Jack Donahue with 30 Rock in there. We're going to sprinkle it in.
The Edge.
The Edge. Before we get to all that, though, couple pieces of news. We don't do this often,
No.
and we definitely didn't do this 20 minutes ago before the recording stopped. James Bond, Amazon's own.
Born and bred in
Born and
the little
bred.
independent bookstore that could.
Born and bred in Arlington, Virginia, and Seattle, Washington.
Yeah.
James Bond at Amazon, directed by Denis Villeneuve. Thoughts, comments, concerns, excitements?
Kind of a home run
Home run?
for the boys in brown and gold.
What's
over
brown and
there.
gold?
Amazon?
I think, they wear the blue vests when they
his
deliver
fingers
things.
Oh. It's that kind of a dark
I
chocolate
will say,
brown.
I saw a Shouts and Murmurs, you know that thing that the New Yorker does?
No.
It was like, I couldn't believe this was published. It was the least funny shit I've ever seen. It was like, James Bond, like, meeting a villain. And it was like, I'm going to be there in 3 to 5 business days.
Wow.
And I was like, that got printed in a magazine?
Dude, have you ever read The Far Side before?
What's that?
It's another one of those like one-panel comics. I would say that 95% of them, I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Imagine writing a comic strip for like 80 years. Where do you go?
Like, where do you go from there?
No,
like what's next level?
Year 78. Like, what are you putting in that shit?
It's just like,
Dude, that you can see literally that problem on every single comic.
I know.
Garfield's insane.
Is Garfield still rocking?
Yes.
Get out.
panel
Like a
1,
strip?
Garfield, knife at own throat. Panel 2, Garfield dead on the ground.
Panel 3, lasagna.
I love lasagna, but I
Hate Mondays. I love when he
Mondays,
says
man.
that.
It always circles back. But let's circle back to Bond.
To Bond.
Denis Villeneuve, home
Yeah.
run.
It's a home run. I think it's definitely as good as they ever could have gotten. And so I'm
Yeah.
sure he must have been in the top 2, top 3 of choices. I'm sure Nolan was top choice because he's always wanted to do one.
Yeah.
But you had mentioned earlier when we test recorded the first 20 minutes of this episode that
Just wanted to grease the wheels.
yeah, just make sure these takes were fresh. That Nolan was probably he's just in a league of his own. He's you don't really go to Nolan; he comes to you.
I think there is something essential with, and we didn't mention this, but we talked about, Sam Mendes came into Skyfall, post Oscar, and Denis been nominated for a few Oscars by this point. But like, it wasn't like Sam Mendes was at the top of his career when he does Skyfall. He would just come off of Away We Go with Krasinski, and like it didn't work.
Yeah.
he was in a like a very fork in the road spot in his career, sort of like he is now, to be honest with you. And
He's got 4 Beatles coming down the pipe.
Whoa.
I forgot about the fucking Beatles, dude.
Way.
I forgot about road ambassador Harris Dickinson.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it is interesting that Denis is like kind of apexing right now in a lot of ways, and is coming into that being like, I'm going to take on another franchise now. They must have paid him the fucking moon.
I think that they did, and I think that they have that money over there.
I think they do.
At Amazon Studios. I mean, we talked about him before on mic with the Harry Krinsky.
Yes, who I texted today.
Yeah.
Who did think it was a slam dunk.
Yeah.
And said it was his version of the Dark Knight almost, where he is coming back and doing like a on the ground thriller series. That's kind of, I think, or action series.
Yeah.
Which separates it from the Dune action world, which the scope and scale is a lot larger.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just, I think he's a great candidate for this. I know we've talked about wanting to get him a little more grounded, wanting to get him a little more back down to our Earth as we know it. And
Sicario mode.
Yeah, and this then Bond takes place on Earth.
This is the only way he was going to do it. Is if the property was larger than the scope of the actual story.
Yeah, so I think it's a great call on their end. I mean, you posed the question earlier, like, is this the biggest director to come into the Bond franchise? I think you're right to say that Mendes would be top.
He was directing plays though when he got this. Like, he wasn't coming off of Dune Part 2.
Yeah, I mean, like Denny passes for sure where he's at right now, and you know, there have certainly been many. Besides Nolan, there have been many American filmmakers that have wanted to crack at bat. You mentioned Soderbergh earlier, which makes a ton of sense. Fincher and Spielberg wanted it for a long time.
They almost gave it to Kevin Smith a few years ago. I'm kidding.
It's either Clerks 3 or this, big dog. What are you picking?
Clerks 3.
Okay, well, then we're going to Denis Villeneuve.
I do think that, like, so the Broccoli's, both Mr. Broccoli, I don't know his first name.
Mr. and Mrs. Broccoli.
But then his daughter, Barbara. Yeah. I mean, the Broccoli's have been making these movies for their entire run since Dr. No.
Yeah.
And I think because of the producerial overarching, I mean, I love watching. There's a few good making ofs of them, and they're so involved in these movies. You know? I mean, there's directors of these movies, but the directors have to be in a collaborative effort with the Broccoli's, stylistically, creatively, kind of on everything. You know, these are heavily produced movies, similar to like a Mission Impossible with Cruise or something. Yeah, it's a McQuarrie Cruise kind of combo, and it's why Danny Boyle didn't direct the No Time to Die, because he was originally going to direct that.
Yeah,
and
he's like, I'm not doing this.
And I don't think he got the creative control that he needed on that. And they went to Carrie Joe, who did a bang up job with that movie.
Fine. Yeah.
And I think that this is so different because Amazon obviously does not. I mean, they have a creative development department, but they are a tech company, you know, and they're not a movie studio, and they're not a family of people who've been a mom and pop shop who've been doing this for 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
So I think it does make sense that they go to a director where they go, you know what? We're not going to a Martin Campbell. You know, we're not going to some guy who.
No, Martin was pretty good.
Who's pretty good. Like a guy who can put the shots in the right direction and is an obvious talent, but can work with us to kind of make a collaborative vision. Sure. Instead, they're like, Denny,
make a movie.
Make a fucking movie for us, man. Yeah. And I think that's probably the best way to go.
Now it's just time to land the plane on Bond. Yeah. That's a tough one. I wouldn't know who to pick.
Did you guys say Broccoli?
Yeah, that's the Barbara Broccoli. That was her name, who produced the Bond movies.
That's actually their name, that produced the family that produced the Bonds.
And Mrs. Onion. And Mr. Carrot.
Jimmy Carrot.
Why would you think that the Broccoli's would be related to people with other vegetable names, though?
Whoa.
We come from a family of vegetables.
Like they're a family and they all have different last names of vegetables.
Mr. Onion married him. He
the spin-off show, The Lentils.
They are doing a video game though before this. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, they just started. They just released. It's like some Swedish company. Cool. Amazon paid to do a video game for them.
Good.
With a wholly original Bond character.
Oh, really?
And he doesn't look anything like Aaron Taylor Johnson.
That gives you some hope.
That gives me some hope. I said Aaron Pierre is my betting odds right now. Do you have another pick?
I think Aaron Taylor Johnson would be my betting odds.
You don't want him though, right?
I don't know.
We have to end this podcast.
I'm kind of coming around on ATJ.
Dude. Did you see 28 Years Later? Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I don't know why my takeaway from Kraven the Hunter, a movie I detested, was that, man, Aaron Taylor Johnson's not half bad. I kind of just was like watching it and I was like, man, if he had anything else to do.
Yeah.
If JC Chandor and ATJ got in cahoots and there was no hunting that needed to be done.
Yeah.
I was like, I think they could really do something here. He's just like, I think him and Aaron Pierre, body type wise, I think they command via body.
I mean, Aaron Taylor Johnson's like 5'4" though, and Aaron Pierre's like 6'3".
Yeah, it's just like he really packs a punch for being a little guy.
Yeah, Russell Crowe's like, Sergey.
Yeah.
You are my son. I love you.
Yes, all of that. And then Joseph Quinn's like, my head's fucking huge.
And then Donald Glover.
Or not Joseph Quinn.
Joseph Quinn's on it. It's Fred.
It's Fred Heschinger.
Front of the studio.
Yeah,
Fred Heschinger.
I don't know why they blew up his head for that movie, or they shrunk his body. His head's the same.
They shrunk his body.
They digitally shrunk Fred Heschinger's body.
They Steve Rogered him.
Yeah, you can. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody saw.
Next time he's in the studio, we'll ask him about it.
Nobody's talking about it because nobody saw it. But I remember I turned to Tanner to the movie and I was like,
they shrunk this motherfucker.
He has the biggest fucking head I've ever seen. There's no way there's no way this is his body.
Fred Heschinger Bond. Am I pronouncing his name right?
It's not polite.
I think though, in all seriousness though,
Yes.
I think ATJ he's a big celebrity, and obviously Denis is a big auteur celebrity. I mean, celebrity for an auteur, and I think that Bond still has to be the most important part of this. You can get a big director like Nolan can do Batman, right? Denis can do Dune. Denis can do Bond, but you can't then get your Bond to be more famous than the character of James Bond. That's a big no-no.
Yeah.
And Pierce Brosnan tested the limits with that and was, I think not incredibly successful. I mean, those movies are fun to watch, but they're not as well remembered character-wise as Connery or Craig.
Yeah.
Or even like a
Roger Moore.
Roger Moore in there? Yeah. They're kind of just like memes a little bit.
Yeah.
Which is funny.
I don't know that ATJ would outweigh it.
I think he would.
You think he would?
I think he would. I think he does the BuzzFeed video with the puppies, and I'm just like, fuck this. Like, fuck this.
Aaron Pierre definitely would not. That's true.
I would get behind Aaron Pierre. I'd get behind Jack Lowden from Slow Horses, who's, I think, congratulations. I think maybe is about to have a child with Saoirse Ronan.
What the fuck?
He's really cool. He could be our first ginger Bond. That'd be interesting.
Cool.
Sure. I actually have, and I don't think we should, I think maybe we should do a Bond pitch episode. I have the best pitch for a Bond movie.
Really?
Yeah. And I confidently, I have like the best pitch for a Bond movie.
Okie dokie.
But neither of those people could star in it.
Okay. Second piece of news. Let's close the book on
keep
Bond.
going.
Yeah.
Quickly, this one. Aaron Sorkin, Social Network 2. Fans, are you excited for this? Pitch Nation?
Yeah.
Can we hear ya?
Yeah.
All right.
I have a question. Do you guys know if it's going to be about him like now, like Mark Zuckerberg now?
There's no information on even if Jesse Eisenberg will be in the movie.
Whoa.
Which I think would be I don't know. I think it would be bad if he wasn't.
Yeah.
He's so good at his iteration of Eisenberg. He's playing himself. He's so good at his iteration of Zuckerberg. That's like,
I think they should do Josh Pence justice in this movie. This should be the Pence.
wow.
The Pence story.
gets
Pence gets the call up.
the face.
Imagine they ran back the characters though, and Armie Hammer. They were just like, no chance we're bringing him back.
Yeah.
And they go, Pence, now's your time. And he redoes
He's like, I was
the
just the
Winkle
vice
lie.
president. That's crazy.
What am I doing here?
Not Mike Pence or Mr. Onion.
You little birthday Billy.
Your word association is confusing the listening nation.
You're a birthday guy.
At least it's an audio joke. That's all I can say.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
I'm
6.
I'm sick. I think that this is interesting. The idea there, because there's obviously so much more to tackle with Zuckerberg and with Facebook, how it's played off. I mean, it played out like that social network where it ends is it's just the beginning.
I've got a good way to put this. 5 out of the 7 days of the week, The Social Network is my favorite movie ever made.
Okay.
And I say that the other two, it's, sometimes I watch something and I'm just like, yep, that's the best.
That was it.
And it could be National Treasure 2, Book of Secrets with Mitch.
We'll never tell.
Mitch.
That's a secret.
It could be Malice with Alec Baldwin.
It could be.
But
we can't talk about it yet, though.
I think, though, that I will forever have time for Aaron Sorkin. Really doing anything, to be honest with you.
Sure.
But we'll forever have time for if he's ever going to step back into the world of Facebook.
I'm definitely interested.
I'm incredibly excited.
I'm hesitant with the element of him directing.
Yeah. It's a little bit of Scott Cooper energy on the Bruce Springsteen movie. We were just like, there's one part of this that's
it's not sitting well with me.
Sitting well. Yeah.
He's yet to really send it home on the director's chair for me. Molly's Game is his best crack at bat.
It's his first and his best.
His first and his best.
Good movie.
Solid movie. Trial of Chicago 7. Not as good.
Had its moments.
Yeah. There's some moments there.
It's got a really rough score. That movie.
I don't remember. So I've been able to forget.
I'll tell you what, The Materialist, Daniel Pemberton's first good score that I've heard.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Daniel Pemberton.
And I stand by that.
Okay. Well, I will let him know.
And he's standing by this golden horse.
The horse of family Pemberton.
His Steve Jobs one is like fine, but the trial one is truly like
it's not very good.
Is like TV movie.
I mean, I just remember that's kind of how that movie felt to me, where it's just like this doesn't feel like a movie in this story. Like it feels like there's a lot of interesting parts of the story. It just was like, I mean, it was just Sorkin just droning on and on, where it's like his writer self took over and his director self didn't know how to like
hit. Yeah,
that's why The Social Network 1 works. Lest we forget, David Fincher is pretty good at making movies.
I think that David Fincher will direct this movie.
And
I know they're saying Sorkin's going to direct it now. I don't think Fincher will stand by if the script is good, which I'm sure it's good. I don't think Fincher can stand by and not direct Social Network 2. It's so like it's interesting because Sorkin
because of the first one, he's like, I got to come back.
Yeah, I mean, like Sorkin. Making A Few Good Men and even Malice with Reiner, and then I forget who directed Malice, to be honest with you. But
Harold Becker,
thank you. And then American President with Reiner again. Like, they're shooting Sorkin scripts, right?
Right.
They're putting the camera where they need to, getting coverage, coming in, putting a rockin' score with it. But then the moment that Sorkin starts working with Bennett Miller and David Fincher, and Danny Boyle, his scripts took a new. They just had a new verve to them.
They were elevated, man.
They were elevated by these directors in ways that needed to be when they moved into the 2010s. And I don't think that Fincher will stand idly. Like, why Fincher's going to direct the sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but he won't direct the sequel to Social Network 2?
But I think that's like the most Fincher thing ever, where he just like doesn't
you're right.
care. Like he like whenever people are like, why do you make all these movies with Netflix? He's like, I get paid like to make them. And like they let me do whatever I want.
Yeah, and they let me move a milli-inch of extras in a shot 5 months after production wrapped.
I can re-release Panic Room on 4K and flip a Coke can to fix an error in continuity. Real? That is real. He did this recently. He is a freak.
Yeah.
That like just I don't think he has any emotional attachment to anything. So I don't think that he would be like, oh, Sorkin's gonna do it? Sure. Whatever.
I think
if somebody was like, Sorkin or Fincher, here's 30 million, he'd be like, now we're talking. Yeah. He likes to get paid. And he should be paid. He's good at what he does.
I think that we can finish on it there.
Yeah.
But These were two incredible stories for one day for my brain.
Yeah, they really came in hot.
These are. I mean, many of our listeners probably too, but like these are two of my singular interests in movies.
Yeah,
as James Bond and Aaron Sorkin writing Facebook movies.
Yeah.
So this did not have the minimum amount of my attention. It had my full attention.
It did. Yeah.
And the rest of my attention is back at the Facebook offices,
Where it belongs.
where we're doing stuff that your clients could never dream of doing.
Like pitching movie podcast episodes to Alec Baldwin.
We're pitching movie podcast episodes.
Today we're pitching ideas for episodes because we've run out.
What if it's one where we do a draft?
What if we draft Alec Baldwin into war? Anyway, Alec Baldwin.
Tanner's back. All right, yeah. Baldwin, baby.
The birthday boy.
Yeah. By the way, I thought that we rocked that one harder than our first movie news before it failed recording.
All right. Shit. Fuck. Tanner, it's your birthday 2.5 weeks ago. You can cry if you want to.
Yeah.
But don't cry for me.
We're going Baldwin.
Argentina. We're going Baldwin for you. Mm-hmm. But for why?
Pourquoi?
I think that I'm trying to find what it is, now that we're a professional podcast.
Obviously.
I don't think we are yet, but
I'm trying to find what it is that I do here. What is my purpose?
way to get existential off the bat.
And I think that one of the purposes I have is on my birthday, it's always a controversial figure.
Yeah.
Maybe that's my thing. Maybe that's what I do here.
Yeah, you're an agent of chaos for sure on this pod.
Bang.
Yeah.
So I think that Alec Baldwin is an interesting choice of a guy who, much like O.J. Simpson, was beloved. Maybe that
we're going to talk about his
Okay.
status, but I think OJ was a little more universally beloved. Yeah.
Yes,
He won the Heisman.
and then became an extremely controversial figure. That does not mean that they were equally beloved. It does not mean that their crimes were equal.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd love to hear your guys' take on that whole situation as well.
Yeah. I mean, Baldwin is immensely fascinating because when I was looking at Baldwin's filmography, for starters, a lot of my favorite Baldwin work, if you will.
Well, Alec Baldwin work.
Yeah.
We're not
My favorite Billy or
we're not touching Billy today.
Yeah, or Daniel or Steven, is when Alec Baldwin comes in. I mean, it's truly like off the bench. He gives you like 15 to 30 minutes, or he's at best a co-lead. But
fuck you, that's my name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Glengarry Glen Ross. Like The Edge, him going toe-to-toe with Anthony Hopkins. Yeah. Honestly, in The Hunt for Red October, which really like makes him, I mean, it's the movie's really being sold. I mean, the poster is Connery. It's Connery's face. Like the poster of Hunt for Red October is like Connery in a sub.
Yeah, you're right.
Like he's not even on the poster.
And he's Jack Ryan.
And he is Jack freaking Ryan, man.
Jack Ryan V1.
V1, obviously.
Ford comes in and
him
Freaky Friday's him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He never existed. Notting Hill, he comes in for a few minutes. He comes in, he shakes things up, and it's complicated.
Yeah. Hey, can you get me a glass of really, really cold water?
Bingo.
I thought you guys have to wear those monkey suits.
Bingo.
Hey, babe, you want to get something?
Yeah.
How was my Baldwin impression good
Your
there?
Baldwin's good. It's really solid. It's
Thank you.
akin to Tanner's Philip Seymour Hoffman from that one scene of
Hey,
Mission
let's
Impossible 3.
reenact that right there. I'm gonna be Baldwin. You're gonna be Philip Seymour Hoffman. Ready? Just let her go, man. Just let her go.
Alec Baldwin.
No. You're like we said. You're an agent of chaos.
What the fuck?
Speaking of that, late career Baldwin comes off the bench in the Mission movies.
Yeah.
And I'm recycling this from, our enemy / hero of the pod, Chris Ryan, but who loves to reenact Baldwin doing the tarmac speech to Ethan Hunt, where he's like, "I made a lateral move coming over to the IMF."
Yeah.
So funny.
I mean, Baldwin is just such a fascinating figure because he is a real built-in persona that and he has been from jump. Like Baldwin.
From Working Girl.
Yeah,
yeah.
He makes his debut in 1987 with a movie called Forever Lulu. I don't know what that is.
But Working Girl's 88.
88.
Okay.
The next year,
It comes in hot in Working Girl.
5 movies, 1 year. Those movies are directed by John Hughes,
Whoa.
Tim Burton, Jonathan Demme, Mike Nichols, Oliver Stone.
That's unbelievable.
He is not the
Wow.
He's not the lead like number 1 star of any of those movies, but he is, for having been in 1 movie prior to this year, he's like right up there, like second or third build. In Beetlejuice, he's like, up there with Gina Davis. She's having a baby. He's a big part.
That's a John Hughes movie.
Yes, that's the John Hughes movie. Working Girl, he's right there with.
He's the shit boyfriend.
With
He's like, you want me to propose?
Who's
right now?
Melanie
now?
Griffith.
Here? It's Melanie Griffith.
Yeah, Melanie Griffith.
Mother of Dakota Johnson.
Yes, exactly.
Last week's guest. Check it out on
So
YouTube.
he comes in just scorching hot, but in all those movies, like you're getting all shades of Baldwin, because in Beetlejuice you're getting this yuppie side of Baldwin where you're like this guy's ridiculous, and you're just laughing at him, and he's great comedically, and obviously like he's incredible comedic performance. He won Emmys doing comedy.
Yeah, as we're talking about, a little Jack Donnie.
Yeah. He's great comedically, but then he's starting to show off that dramatic range that 92 is Glenn Ross, where he just fucking nails it, man. And he quickly taps into this.
Mitch and Murray asked me to be here as a favor. That's why I'm here.
He's got this dirty, sleazy nature to him that you love to hate, that you just love to watch this guy. He's just so captivating. And they try to make him the dude in the 90s. They'd really give him a go.
When we're pitching in the 90s.
When we're giving it to him. He basically gets a 10-year, in the span of 10 years, he goes from Jack Ryan, where Harrison Ford you couldn't even think of him as Jack Ryan, to by 1999 Notting Hill, it is a joke that he is there and that he is Julia Roberts.
Do you want something crazy, by the way?
Yes.
In a newspaper this is an interesting little tidbit, something Fincher would fix in post if he could.
Sure.
The newspaper that I think when they're in bed and she's reading it at Hugh Grant's apartment in Notting Hill, there's actually a article that mentions Alec Baldwin in that newspaper.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
So there's a little bit of a Baldwinception in that movie as Jeff King. Hey, don't overdo it. don't ever walk around saying, "Who's that movie star with the fat girlfriend?"
Are you hearing this? Does this make you happy for your birthday?
Don't you guys have to wear those monkey suits?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Fuck you. That's my name.
I just think it's fascinating that Baldwin is like really, really well known.
Yeah.
While having never really been at the top of Hollywood.
I think that. Listen, I think. Let me summarize it for you.
Hit it.
In one sentence.
Okay.
Or let me try to.
Okay.
I like Baldwin 5 out of the 7 days a week. No.
I feel like I heard this before.
I think with a Tom Cruise,
yeah.
It was funny because he's in the Mission movies with Tom Cruise sharing the screen.
Yeah.
And they're like kind of movie stars at the same time in the 90s.
Yeah.
And then by the time that they're doing Fallout, they're in vastly different points of their career, you know, where you think Baldwin's kind of an old legend given 15.
Yeah.
And you're like, nope, like he was in Rain Man the same exact time. Yeah. A Tom Cruise, a Tom Hanks, even like a Michael Keaton in Beetlejuice or something. These are actors that you grow to trust more and more as a movie goes on, you know? And a Cruise where you get to something like Collateral, he's using that against you in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
But in a Rain Man, for example, starts out as a dick, and then he becomes a great person by the end of it.
Yeah.
Baldwin, what's so funny about him in movies is that the longer he's on screen, the less you trust him.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. You know?
Yeah.
But inherently that does make him kind of an anti-hero that almost like his run couldn't last longer than it did in a lot of ways. But when we get to Hunt for October, it's kind of the only movie that he starts out in the same amount of that I've seen at least, where he starts out in the same amount of like esteem that he ends up in.
Yeah.
Because even a movie like, and one of your favorite movies, It's Complicated,
right?
Where he's married to Meryl Streep. They're divorced by the time the movie starts. They start hooking up, and you're like, it's such a perfect encapsulation of his character where you're like, oh man, I really want to like this guy, but you know that he's in it for himself a little more than he should be.
You can't trust him.
Yeah,
you can't trust him
any more. That noodle thing. Remember that?
No, I don't.
They're like midnight snacking on Streep's stuff. And they all come down.
She's an incredible cook.
Your mom's been acting weird. He goes, any more of that noodle thing. Anyway, but like I think that's such an interesting characteristic about him because he's like the coolest guy to come out of Long Island, but you're still coming out of Massapequa. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's just a different vibe than the Americana or the Heartland or something. Yeah. And it gives off this like sleazy energy that's so fun in movies, but is weaponized in such like an inverse way than his contemporaries of the 90s in that way. Yeah.
He's such an interesting clash, especially early on. And it kind of never really shakes it of like, he's like a greaser meets like a yuppie, and you're like, I don't like either of these really. Like, and so
you're not giving enough credit. He's super likable in movies.
Oh no, he is
surface level.
It's like you don't like that, and then you see it, and you're like, I'm not. I want to see more of it. Do it.
Yeah.
That's what's funny. Where it's like, not to bring in the other Baldwin brothers into this, but it's like it only works for Alec. Like the other
Billy
guys,
and
you're like,
Steven, you're like immediately something's wrong.
I don't think I want to see any more of this. Is there like a show about homicide where it's like there's streets or something that we can throw one of these guys on?
It's gonna be hard to enter the pageant without a face. Wait, Billy was Forgetting Sarah Marshall or Steven? Yeah, it's Billy. Because he's like, I knew you were fucking Billy Baldwin.
Yeah.
And then Steven is Usual Suspects.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Billy is, and Billy's in, I think, Homicide, Life on the Streets.
Oh, is he as well? Mm-hmm. Oh, that makes a lot of sense why they used him.
Yeah.
This is my 2000s brain not registering this stuff. Yeah.
So, Alec, it's just like, he's kind of against all odds. He works.
He's undeniable, though.
Yes. Like, and he's kind of a monologue king.
A monologue legend.
Yeah, he's got, I mean, right off the bat, Malice and Glenn Ross back-to-back years there's just some incredible monologue work. I mean, obviously his Glenn Ross one is all time.
You know what's interesting is that I saw, and I want to bring up some SNL because SNL is a super important part of Baldwin's
it's a huge part of him.
But I saw the Elves spoof of that before I actually saw the movie. Yeah.
Wow.
Where he's like, always be elving or whatever he says in that. And I knew it from that.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I'd seen that many times before I saw the actual movie. I watched Glenn Ross a few years ago for the first time.
Yeah.
I was fucking captured by it. I loved it.
It's a great movie.
And it was like I'd never seen anything before like it. But it's interesting to go from the SNL reference because that's like a lot of shit for me.
Yeah.
To go from that back to the 90s when something originates from.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that Mamet wrote that into the movie and it wasn't in the play. Yeah.
Right.
And he had said, I think I heard this from Baldwin, he was like, I wrote it into the movie because it was like almost like a Fincher 20 years later pickup thing where he's like, even though I won a Peabody for this and a Tony or wherever he won, like, I just don't believe that they're going to go commit those crimes unless someone comes in from corporate and delivers a fuck you, that's my name speech.
Yeah.
And Baldwin
crushes it.
Fucking annihilated it.
I mean, and Baldwin, he is a big theater performer and he's a big fan of theater. I mean, famously, that is the reason why he doesn't reprise his role as Jack Ryan in Patriot
Was he doing
Games.
a play?
That's what they
He was in like Summer Stock or something
he was in a play, and which of course then it's Columbia, right? And
no, it's Paramount. It's Paramount. Yeah,
Paramount's like because Paramount wants Harrison Ford. They want to get Harrison Ford because it's Harrison Ford.
They want him after Hunt for Red October.
Yeah, they wanted Harrison Ford for Hunt for Red October.
Got it. And Harrison Ford turned that down. We talked about that. Yeah,
he wanted it, and so when Harrison Ford 6 years later is like, I'll do it now. And Alec Baldwin's like, oh, I'm maybe doing a play coming up. They're like, oh, you can't do it.
I thought it was money.
It's definitely like they want Ford.
Damn.
And so like they just like it like Baldwin was like, I could have moved I'm Jack Ryan. And they're like,
sucks.
no, Harrison Ford's Jack.
I might want to go. I think the Arrow is doing it part of 70mm Fest. Or they are playing it this week or something. Hunt for Red October.
I think it's this week. Yeah. I don't think it's 70, but it's
It's so fun to watch. I mean, you saw it recently for the first time
on DVD, baby.
Did you use mine?
Here it is.
Yeah, thank you.
It was 720p.
That's dope.
It was
it's funny. Like I did rewatch a little bit of it today.
Yeah.
And a scene I forgot about was when he's taking a shower, like bent over, like in a weird way. You're just seeing that Tiernan shoots up on him, bent over, and then he goes. It's like he's soap dropping a little bit, to be honest with you. And then he's talking about why, like how Connery is going to defect. Basically, he's like talking it through, and he's like, how's he going to get the crewmen off the sub? Like, how do you get crewmen to want to get off a nuclear sub?
Yeah.
And he's like shaving, doing it. It reminded us, or reminded me of like coming up with a pitch. You know what I mean? Like showering before I come here. I'm like, how am I going to get Baldwin to want to get off the sub in this movie? But it was also like him monologuing in a very theatrical way, which he's good at. But I was like, this guy's a fucking movie star. Like, this guy is a movie star. He is self-proclaimed not a movie star. But like, and he said, he's like, I was no good in movies. But like, it's one of those moments where you do kind of forget about the sleaziness for a second. And you're like, in another light, with a couple more scripts, this guy could have had a completely different career a little bit.
Yeah, I honestly think it's like, and then it's, some actors are just great at picking projects. And I think that he clearly wasn't as good at that. Like I think the projects, like you watched The Getaway in full.
I did.
And there's no problem with The Getaway. I watched a little bit of The Getaway.
What was your problem with it?
My problem with it is that it's not the Steve McQueen in The Getaway.
Steve McQueen.
And two is that he's not Steve McQueen. I think that the character that they're trying to get him to play is just like inherently not a Baldwin character. I think you need.
But he made it. I mean, he ripped the soul out of it, but it was still super fun.
It's super fun, but it's like the first bit. It's like, yes, he's about to, like, he's a criminal.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at it, it's like they're trying to be like, but he's like a lovable criminal. It's like, I don't know. I love Baldwin because I know he's a criminal. I love it because I know he's on the wrong side of things.
Did you get to the sex scene with him and Bassinger in that movie?
No, I didn't.
It's straight up pornography.
I'm sure they both requested it.
I mean, they were obviously married by the time. But I love how Ally McGraw and McQueen get married on The Getaway.
Yeah.
And Baldwin is like, Kim, we gotta make The Getaway.
Yeah. I got just the project.
And you know the guy who did Cocktail? We're getting him too.
I mean, that's insane. Yeah.
Donaldson is such. I mean, he brings that Cocktail energy to the movie.
Yeah, it's electric.
He did Lethal Weapon too, right?
No, that's
no.
Richard Donner.
Oh,
yeah.
What else did Donaldson do?
He did what is it, like Dante's Peak with Pierce Brosnan or whatever? It's he's got
a great style.
He's been around. Yeah, Dante's Peak. He did No Way Out with Costner. That's
he did No Way Out?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Donaldson is slowly becoming my favorite director of all time.
Don't tell him. He'll be real excited about that. He might just make another one.
I think you should finish The Getaway.
I definitely will.
It's really fun.
Because I was having a good time with it. I was just like, it's McQueen brings, I mean, McQueen has something.
And Peckinpah too.
Yeah, I mean, and truly, like them together is like, God, that's special stuff. I mean, Donaldson and Baldwin don't bring it like Peckinpah and McQueen do, but.
The title credits of The Getaway with Baldwin.
With just a gun?
Well, but like, I mean, well, we don't need to talk about guns on this podcast.
Why not? Okay, okay.
I meant
just
more
hunting
like
rabbits.
Was that Mrs. Onion?
No, that's definitely Elmer Fudd. Get him the fuck out of here.
He's friends with Gramps. I think that the title credits, though, it's so funny because you're like, I knew nothing about The Getaway. By the way, I didn't realize, this sounds really stupid, I didn't realize it was a remake of McQueen's The Getaway till halfway through the movie because I've never seen it.
Yeah, you would love the original.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out. Yeah. But the title credits are going, and I'm like, all right, Baldwin, Bassinger, know they're in this movie. We're like, oh, we got Jimmy Woods in this movie?
Yeah, I love him on that Conan clip you sent me. Jimmy Woods.
Yeah, James Woods. He's like, man, the character actors, Jimmy Woods.
I love calling James Woods Jimmy Woods.
James Woods.
Making it a longer
name.
name.
I don't get as excited as I do about anyone else when I see fifth build James Woods.
You're in for a ride.
And he fucking delivers in this movie.
Yeah. See, I didn't even get to
You
Jimmy.
didn't get to Jimmy.
I only got to James Woods.
Dude, but it goes James Woods, and we had Michael Madsen obviously come up, and then it said Philip Hoffman, and I go, is that Philip Seymour Hoffman? Like what? Like
Drop
where?
Seymour. It's cleaner.
I was like, what part of the Philip Seymour Hoffman career are we at early in '94? And I was thinking about it. I'm like, no way, it's Philip Seymour. They would say Philip Seymour Hoffman, you know. And then we're like halfway through, and then James Woods, spoiler alert, he's like, I got a new crew for you. And I'm like, oh my God, it's Madsen, he's back. And then it's like, oh my God. And Philip Seymour Hoffman gets like 3 lines of like manic energy.
Yeah.
He's playing because Madsen's kind of the Wayne Grow character of the movie.
Yeah.
And
I was getting mad.
Yeah. He's like truly like knockoff Wayne Grow in that movie.
It's awesome.
But
this is before.
It's before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe Wayne Grow was
stealing from Madsen.
But Philip Seymour Hoffman's got like a real like, this guy's getting shot in the head energy to him. And he doesn't, but that's the energy.
But he gets shot in the dick, so you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely gonna go back to it. I mean, Baldwin is a fascinating guy because it just feels like, I mean, like then that same '94 he does the movie The Shadow, which is like this attempt to bring back that old like pulp comic, like detective comic strip, which the '90s they were doing. Because I guess it's kind of like directors now being like, let's bringing back the stuff that they liked when they were kids. Mm-hmm. It's like directors in the '90s being like, I loved Dick Tracy in the '30s, and it's like, I don't know if we need Dick Tracy though. I mean, and I like Dick Tracy.
We'll get the biggest actor of all time to play him. I promise it'll be good. We need this.
Okay, Warren Beatty. Who's gonna play? But yeah, The Shadow is like. I mean, and then I
jump to Malice, or you got something before that?
Before we get into Malice, I just love looking at all of the posters of the '90s Baldwin movies because they're all Baldwin, 5 o'clock shadow, half his face.
Yeah, more of that noodle thing.
And he's just like stone facing with a little glint of happiness in his eye, and then it's just like fill in the blank actress from the '90s.
Yeah,
and you're like, that doesn't tell me much about this movie here. Called 2 Bits, called The Juror, called Heaven's Prisoners.
I got real
called
close.
Thick as Thieves.
Dude, I got real close. Literally post double feature of Getaway and Malice to clicking on The Juror at like 1 a.m. last night.
Well, you should have done it because I didn't.
But yeah, wait.
Has to talk about it. But let's talk about Malice. Yeah.
I really, it was like some of my favorite. The word slop is so overused. I think honestly using the word slop is slop at this point. Pioneer newsletter, subscribe. But I think that like it is just some of the best, like, when a movie's bad today, it's not gloriously bad. But when a movie's bad in 1997, it feels to me, or 96, whenever it was, it feels to me like it was written by Sorkin and oh my God, who co-wrote it with him? It's a goat. It's a legend.
Scott Frank.
Yes, it's like a co-written script by Scott Frank and Aaron Sorkin, and it's shot by
Gordon Willis.
By Gordon Willis, and you're like, wow,
Jerry Goldsmith on the score.
Yeah, be like, I can name 10 things that are wrong with this movie, but it's still some of just the most incredible shit I've ever seen in my life.
It's very good. It's very
so watchable.
Yeah.
It's so watchable, and it's so fun.
My dad owns that movie on Amazon, like digital Amazon Video. Like
it's only SD.
Yeah.
I rented it. I had to for $2.
My dad bought it. Whereas you rented it, he bought it one day.
I tried logging into his account.
Yeah.
He fell asleep though. Too many O'Douls.
Yeah, sorry about that. He had his 8th O'Doul last night. He's tired. Just so much bread.
He loves gluten.
He loves yeast.
He's a gluten addict.
Yeah. Malice is. I mean, because it's young. Kidman. It's like a great proof of concept for what you're getting from Kidman for forever.
She's smoking hot in this movie.
Yeah. She looks incredible. It's great. Bill Pullman. It's great, George C. Scott.
Pullman the goat.
Yeah.
Pullman, this is kind of like it's kind of like the While You Were Sleeping versus Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah.
Pullman tension between like, is this guy like an oaf or is this guy the coolest dude in the room?
Yeah.
And in this movie, he kind of gets to play both, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
I like to think it's closer to the second one. Cool.
He's so
Bill.
dope. I mean, shout out to Lewis, too.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Bill.
Yeah, Bill Pullman's in the room.
Lewis is like one of my favorite actors right now.
Whoa.
Yeah, I really like Lewis Pullman.
I don't have a.
You don't have an opinion on him?
I don't have. I like him.
And I hope he doesn't have to do another Marvel movie. Probably will, though.
I feel like he probably hopes he does.
Yeah.
Get
Anyway,
paid like
sorry.
$8 million. Yeah, Malice
Bill.
is just it's just really. You're right. It's so watchable, and it's Baldwin is on like has tuned it up to 11, where he's just like and it's Sorkin, like early Sorkin, where he's just letting it loose.
It's Baldwin delivering a Sorkin monologue.
So there's like such a timing to it. Obviously, like he's a very rhythmic writer, and Baldwin like is so adept at like matching that pace.
It's a great point.
Where he just is like, he's just setting it up. Each line, and it's like the boulder's just moving down the hill, and you're like, he's about to knock this guy out.
You get the entire Baldwin experience that we're talking about too, because he starts out charming, brilliant doctor, and you're like, this guy is a legend. And then immediately when that nurse looks at him in the beginning of the movie, you're like, this guy's kind of a shitbag, and I know it immediately.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I don't trust him, but then do I trust him?
Yeah.
Talk about a role that's perfectly cast.
Yeah.
It's Malice.
It's Malice.
It's Jed.
If he has like 2 or 3 more Malices in the 90s,
It's fucking set, bro.
Yeah, we're looking at a different life for Alec.
Because I think that the Glengarry speech gets all the credit.
Yeah.
Obviously, Chris Ryan has brought a lot of light to the coming to the IMF was a lateral move. We know his speech at the driving range in The Departed. He's like, it's good to be married. Shows the ladies that your cock's working.
Yeah, that's also another great,
Yeah.
Little bit of Baldwin.
little skosh of Baldwin.
Yeah.
But Malice is truly, I had no idea about the speech in Malice before I watched it last night.
Oh, really?
Is truly, like, to me, like the premier Baldwin monologue.
Yeah.
I am God.
I am God.
I wrote down a line in it before we started, because I did just listen to this before we started.
Yeah, please
You ready for this one? I have been awarded citations from 7 different medical boards in New England.
And what is it? I don't get sick at sea.
Oh, yeah, wait. And I never, ever get sick at sea.
And that's only halfway through the monologue.
It is unbelievable. The way that he pauses between 7 different boards in New England.
Yeah.
And I never, ever get sick at sea.
And like most writers would be like, I'm putting the pen down. I'm going home for the day. Sorkin's like, I got 8 more of these.
Yeah, then he gets into God.
Yeah, and then it's like, I'm God.
He's like, I hope you win your raffle at church.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, God was in room 237 that day.
What's amazing is he's delivering all this to Peter Gallagher.
It's Gallagher, dude.
Would you say that to Peter Gallagher?
Oh, man, dude, I
I'd
forgot.
probably hit him with a big hammer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's good. Gallagher.
hurt.
You know what's funny is because Gallagher, you've not seen Sex Lies, right?
I've seen 8 minutes.
Okay, so Gallagher can do the horny guy really well.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm watching like 2 shitheads duel it out right now. And I don't know which one is sleeping with Nicole Kidman, but she's definitely in cahoots with one of these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's incredible that he gives it to get, because Gallagher's got some good stuff before he starts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Gallagher's great in that scene. And then
Would you say he's got a God complex?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Baldwin's like, and I'll go now. And it's just great stuff.
Calls him Jed. He's like, it's Doctor.
Yeah.
And then he calls him Stan or whatever his fucking name is.
He
It's
calls him
unbelievable
this
shit.
lawyer. Like and Peter Gallagher's like,
Dude, this is why Social Network 2. I'm just literally like midnight screening for it.
I mean,
This guy and Sorkin.
if he casts Alec Baldwin
as Mark Zuckerberg.
yeah, if he casts Peter Gallagher as Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, and he's like Mark Zuckerberg, and he's like, let me tell you, God was in Palo Alto that day.
The ghost of George C. Scott is playing the Winklevoss twins now.
I'll tell you what. Also, Lilith from, I forget her name, but Lilith from Frasier and Cheers plays the detective, the real like Boston accent detective in the movie.
Wow.
And she's great too.
I don't remember this.
She's good too.
It's a movie I've seen many times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
It's an easy movie to find Holden. By the way.
A movie I definitely saw way too young too. Like again, my dad one day we didn't own it digitally, and the next day we did.
Yeah.
And my dad, like, that was a movie that my dad was like, I remember this being pretty good. I'm like 12.
Yeah. Hey, Dad, why is Baldwin playing darts with those two chicks over there?
Like, what's going on with Baldwin's character,
Yeah.
Dad? And he's like, shouldn't you be at 7th grade right now?
Bring me a glass of O'Doul's, ice cold.
I do think Baldwin's a lead.
Piping hot.
Wait, can I mention 2 Baldwin moves here? Piping hot.
Microwave, 30 seconds, power 8.
I preheated the oven when I got home from work.
There's a couple of glass bottles of O'Doul's in there right now. Why did you do that?
Dad, please. We're watching Malice again tonight, son. Tonight I'm going to teach you how to scrub in.
Your mom's locked in a crawl space downstairs.
Oh, man. That's
All right.
dope.
What are your 2 Baldwin?
Okay, I wish I had examples of these, but I know
Okay.
he does them in multiple movies. The
Okay.
Departed. He does it in Hunt for Red October when he's in the sit room.
Yeah.
He does it in Malice when he's in surgery. Baldwin is like the best sidebar taker of all time. Like he's incredible at like delivering a speech and then midway through the speech, turning to someone behind him and being like, wait, we do have that, right? And then going back to the speech. And I think I honestly feel like 25% of his jokes in 30 Rock ended up being like him like flipping back out of a speech and coming into something and then coming back into it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Look out for that in Baldwin movies where he's saying something to someone and then he turns back and then says something. He's like, wait, that is something that we have, right? And then he goes back into it.
And that's perfect for comedy. Yeah,
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, he was great at comedy. Like he really showcased
so
it all
fucking funny, dude.
in '88. Like
Yeah.
he put it all on tape and he said, "Come find me."
30 Rock, man. I mean, he's got Tina Fey knew how to write a joke for him so well. Because what's unintentionally funny about Brass Balls and I Am God and all that stuff, it seemed like Tina Fey was just like, I know exactly how to write a joke for this now. And I mean, dude, what was the fucking? There's an episode of 30 Rock where he's like, where she's like, why are you going down to Miami? He's going to he's like Art Basel or something. He's like, why are you going down to Miami? He's like, why does anyone go from Miami? The burgeoning art scene. Ass. What was the other one where he's like, I go to a mountain for, like once a year and fart for 3 hours? Oh, man. Anything else?
I mean, the final thing I would have mentioned about Baldwin before we're pitching in 1997, purely because I asked for it. And
Well, we're going to do 90s, though.
Yeah, we were going to do 90s already, and 97 really helps my pitch, which I want to go on record and say, I know this doesn't help my case.
Yeah.
I'm not going to win this one, okay?
Oh.
I'm just not going to.
Mine's not that good either.
Go ahead and say that does not help your case.
But in 1997, the year that we're going to pitch to, he is in the movie The Edge, which have you have
I've not seen The Edge. It's always been a movie that I need to see.
another movie, again, I've seen many times with my father.
Yeah.
Had a very interesting repertoire. The Edge is him and Anthony Hopkins, and it is about them getting. And once again, it's Anthony Hopkins is like this rich he's like a billionaire. He's got this really young, beautiful model wife.
Yeah.
And this model, her lead photographer, is Alec Baldwin. And it's like from the jump, Anthony Hopkins is like, I think there's something up between those two. They're awfully touchy.
This guy's got 4 buttons down on his chest with like a rug on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is the year that Anthony Hopkins started to look like he was 120 years old. He is now eclipsed 590.
Anthony Hopkins was like hot at one point.
Yeah, a long time ago. And this is like it's kind of hilarious when they put him on screen with this, because I can't remember who the model is.
Kim Best.
It's Elle Macpherson, who's who's like an Australian model in the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, in the 90s, like models were celebrities.
Yes, and
yeah.
it was like this was like the first movie she did, maybe the last.
Supermodels.
And they're up in Alaska. They're there for like a specific photo shoot for Anthony Hopkins' wife, and like Alec Baldwin and Anthony Hopkins need to go Alec Baldwin's going to go scout a location up in the Alaskan like remote wilderness, and he's taken a private plane up there, And Anthony Hopkins is like, I'll go with you. I'm an outdoorsman myself.
Yeah.
And he's like, all right, come on with us. And while they're flying, their plane runs into like a bunch of birds. And
Bird strike! Bird strike!
It like the birds crash into their plane, and their plane goes down in the middle of the wilderness in Alaska.
I like this.
And it's basically the rest of the movie is like Anthony Hopkins, Alec Baldwin versus bears.
What?
Yes.
I gotta see this, dude.
It's epic. It's really
Holy
good.
shit. Thank you for bringing us along on the ride with that.
Yeah, it's awesome. Baldwin is slimy. He's sleazy.
Oh.
Him and Hopkins dueling it out, like
Because I don't trust Hopkins all the way, too.
no,
Yeah.
you shouldn't. That you definitely shouldn't.
That guy wears people's skin.
But that this brings up a great point for Baldwin. Like my final point on Baldwin is that Baldwin's not afraid to go toe to toe with anybody, and
Absolutely not.
He's like bring him on, and to a degree, he may even play down to competition. Like he may play down a level when he's going up against weaker opponents.
Yeah, I mean, in his Glenn Gary speech, he's
going against Jack Lemmon.
He's whipping his dick out at Jack Lemmon.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck you to Jack Lemmon.
Jack Lemmon's like, oh, okay.
And Ed Harris. I
Yeah.
don't think, well, Pacino's not in that scene. Ricky Romaine in that scene.
No.
But like, he's really going at all the legends in there.
Yeah, taking it to him.
Alan Alda?
Yeah.
And he does say in the GQ interview.
Alan Arkin.
Alan Arkin, thank you. He does say in the GQ interview where he's just like, I felt so out of my league in all of these situations. So, I don't know.
He rises to competition.
Oh my God.
He's ready to play.
I mean, yeah.
But like the Tennessee Volunteers, he kind of takes
I never thought about I never thought. Sorry, yes, of course. I kind of interrupted you saying that, but
not worth
I never really
repeating.
thought about the love triangle in Working Girl is actually the Jack Ryan drama played out in a movie, which is kind of interesting because Ford is obviously.
And you come out
Good guy.
loving Ford. I mean, that obviously that part is made for you to like fall in love with Ford. Over the
So
course
wait,
of the
I
movie.
gotta before we pitch, there's an SNL sketch that he did that I think is like the perfect encapsulation of his career.
Okay.
And it's so slept on. This is what happens, and it's like they do like the TCM spoofs, where it's like a spoof of like a Turner Classic movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Bill Hader is like, now we take you back to like some big shot or whatever.
Yeah.
And it goes back. They're like a sleazy motel in the 1940s, and it's Nasim Pedrad, if you remember her, right? So she, I'm gonna continue. I don't give a fuck if you don't remember her.
I don't, but
Fucking stop recording the podcast. No, but Nasim Pedrad's a prostitute, and she's in a sleazy hotel room with like this like Don Draper like businessman who's businessman who's Baldwin.
yeah.
And he's like, and she starts taking off her dress, and he goes, no, keep that on. What's your name, sweetheart? She goes, my name's like Vanilla Sweetness. And he's like, no, your real name. Anyway, so they have a 3-minute heart-to-heart conversation. No jokes. They're like, it's silent. There's no jokes played the entire time. They're like, I grew up in Mississippi, and they're literally just going back and forth. That's nice. And then by the end of the conversation, they connect, and then she goes, my real name's Edith. And he goes, Edith, it's really nice to meet you. There's a silence, still no jokes, and he goes, say Edith. She's like, yeah. Give me a hand job. She goes, what? And he's like, yeah, that's my thing. Like I get a girl's backstory, get a real name, gets my rocks off. And I'm like, oh my God. And it's so funny because it's exactly Alec Baldwin's thing where you're like, I want to like this guy. He seems earnest. He seems like a
Something
good dude.
off here, though.
Something off here. And then at the end, he's like, hey, Edith, give me a hand job. So good, dude. Some Big Shot. That's what it's called.
Okay.
Anyway. What an electric conversation on Baldwin, by the way.
Yeah.
I thought coming to this pod would be a lateral move, Tanner.
Nope. This is all up from here, baby.
Yeah. The one thing I want to shout out for the pitches is as another SNL sketch, which is Sweaty Balls. Have you guys seen that? Have you seen that one?
Yeah, my Sweaty Balls.
Him playing Pete Sweaty.
Yeah.
He handed over his cheese balls and be careful. They're gentle. Dude, be gentle. They're sensitive.
That was one of the SNL sketches that these obviously former legends, still legends, but they made into like an AT&T commercial.
Yeah.
A few years ago.
Yeah.
They've done this one like 4 or 5 of these sketches now.
It's not right, man.
It's not right.
It's not fucking right. Okay.
Not my sweaty balls.
Not my sweaty balls. Be gentle.
They're sensitive.
Producer Tanner, Alec
Producer
Baldwin.
Tanner. How was our Baldwin conversation?
It was solid. It was. Are you asking for how long it was?
No, I said, how was it?
Oh no, it was good.
I think it was like 2 hours.
Yeah.
Was it gaslighting?
I am gaslighting. No, I think it was interesting. I think that Alec Baldwin is truly been in every movie.
Yeah.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
I think the one thing that was missing from that conversation I like to bring up is he has, in the way that, Tom Hanks, Bill Murray become Wes Anderson guys, or
He did
Leo,
the voiceover for Tenenbaums.
He feels like he has become a Tim Burton guy. And I don't like that.
He's become a Tim Burton guy?
He's in a lot of Tim Burton stuff. He's in The Cat in the Hat. He's in...
Well, that's not Tim Burton.
Is that not Tim Burton?
No, it
No.
feels like it.
I think Beetlejuice might be his only Tim Burton work.
Really?
Yeah.
He feels like a Tim Burton
He's
guy.
a New York guy.
He is a New York guy.
We didn't mention for the entire conversation like his volatile relationship with the paparazzi, or the fact that him and his wife Hilaria, who I think was his yoga instructor,
I think that's
had
true.
7 kids in 3.5 months too.
That doesn't make sense.
wow.
I'm kidding, but like they had like a kid a year. He has 7 kids now.
Are they all named Alec Baldwin? Or they're all named George Foreman?
No, I mean that'd be funny if Alec Baldwin named all his kids. But no, it's interesting because after obviously like the really unfortunate Rust situation,
Yes.
and just generally because at the time I think he was just running, he was doing the Trump stuff on SNL, and was kind of in like a real late period Baldwin kind of.
Yeah.
He then, it seems like now he's got a TLC reality show and he's like super active on Instagram.
Yeah.
It seems like now his public persona has been taken away from himself and has been put in the hands of like PR crisis managers.
Yeah.
Which I just don't want to see on the internet.
He's just trying to stay afloat
Yeah.
in any way possible. And
Let Baldwin be Baldwin, God damn it. I'm sure the legal fees have been fucking killing him too.
just let him go to sleep.
I don't hold any ill will against Alec Baldwin.
Thank you.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
All right.
So Tanner, that's what you thought of the conversation.
Yeah.
I thought he was a different guy the whole time, and now I'm glad to be caught
Did you
up.
think he was Michael Keaton, the Tim Burton thing?
No, I knew it was Alec Baldwin.
Okay.
I thought I mean, I was really, I would say, when you say Alec Baldwin, I think, oh, the guy from The Cat in the Hat.
Is he in the Boss Baby too?
He is
the boss baby,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Well, buddy, he's the boss, baby.
Is your name Boss Baby? My name's Go Fuck Yourself.
Picture this, you're at work. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, who friggin' knows? And then ding, an email comes into the inbox. It's the Pioneer newsletter. You read through it. You say, God damn, if that wasn't a cold cocktail for my inbox. Sign up today at thepioneer.online. That's thepioneer.online. All right, back to the show.
We bet.
All right, Tanner. Give us a pitch stitch. Give us a trivia question.
All right, so the trivia,
Give us a Billy Baldwin.
the trivia question,
Please.
something we didn't really touch on. I think we touched on it a little bit. The
Touch
SNL
on
run.
it, please.
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin obviously played Donald Trump.
He did?
In SNL, which I think
In
a lot of
SNL, the movie.
I think a lot of people that watch SNL kind of are of the same opinion that it's a little bit messed up to give an outside famous guy one of the biggest roles on SNL.
I think we all agree on that, yeah.
But nonetheless, he was on many episodes.
Mm-hmm.
How many episodes of SNL was Alec Baldwin on?
Can I ask you a question? Because he hosted it for like 25 years before this. So is it, how many episodes is he on completely or just playing Trump?
How many episodes was he on completely?
Okay. Got it. Whoa. Wow.
So this is including Trump appearances.
Including Trump
Yeah.
appearances.
I've
Which
gotta
make
guess.
up the meat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I remember. I saw his IMDb today.
Okay.
I think it might be more than this, but as a safe guess, I'm gonna go 49.
Okay.
Wow. 26.
All right, Matt, you're going to go first because the answer is 46.
Whoa,
You're
good.
just right on the cusp, buddy.
dude! Another slept on Baldwin SNL, by the way, is when remember the Italian cruise captain, the cruise ship captain who crashed into the boulder because he wanted to say hi to his friends. Do you remember that story?
No.
There was like an Italian cruise ship, and this captain wanted to like wave to people that he knew on the shore. So he like steered his boat, and he like hit like a cliff with the boat. And Baldwin comes on with this like comical Italian accent. He's like, ah! That's pretty funny. Anyway, wow. All right, oh my God, I got to remember my pitch.
And just so you guys know, the pitch stitch is I just want to hear a little piece of a monologue, a little piece of something that he does, a long speech.
All right.
But they're a piece of it.
Can you remind me in the end if I do forget? Because I don't think I will, but just give me a little ping at the end if I don't speech you. All right.
Okay. Ready?
All right. All right, I'm ready.
Go.
Baldwin, 1997. There's only one way he can go. We trust him, then we don't trust him, then we sort of do, then we don't. Who does that remind you of?
I don't know.
A cable news host.
Whoa.
In the peak of cable news in the 90s. We've had a couple peaks.
Sure. Yeah.
My movie is called Field Reporter. When a field reporter is kidnapped in the Middle East, her mistress and cable's most trusted newsman must decide between his reputation and the truth.
Wow.
All right.
Yeah,
Let me just bang this one out for you here.
Yeah.
Get to my cast. All right, Baldwin is Tad Lawler. All right. Okay. Tad Lawler he's not like Murrow levels in the McCarthy trials. He's like cable god, all right?
Yeah.
In the 90s. He's a real trusted newsman, right? Yeah. And he hosts this cable news show. He's an anchor. And he's got this new producer, a couple years, and there's immediate tension between them. You know, first scenes were like, something not right about him. Yeah. All right. That's Sigourney Weaver. All right.
Hello.
She's Kim D'Alfonso. All right. And a little bit of a battle. We cut to the Middle East. All right. I'm not sure I want to go like fictional war if we're going to go the Gulf War in here. But basically, we got Demi Moore is playing Melanie Heatherwitz, all right?
Okay.
And Melanie Heatherwitz is a field reporter, all right? And she's kidnapped by this like rebel group, all right? That's what we see. And then we go back to the newsroom and it's revealed immediately to the audience, but not to anyone else, that Baldwin be fucking Julianne Moore, all right? Okay. He's married, all right?
Yeah.
And there's an immediate like, oh shit. And the reason that we find this out is because obviously there's no like text messages in 1997, but we do have like correspondence between them.
Okay.
All right. We got some love letters, maybe. All right.
Yummy.
And that's kind of how the hostages communicate with Baldwin that like, you know, we got your field reporter.
Okay.
So he alerts the network. He alerts Sigourney Weaver as Kim D'Alfonso. And he's like, yo, these people want $7 million. All right. Maybe not $7 million. Let's go $1 million. All right. We got to pay them. Let's fucking pay them right now. And Sigourney Weaver's like, hold on. We have to contact, obviously, the president, you know, and see what's going on here. This is a U.S. reporter is being held hostage. So they bring in a couple characters. We got David Caruso as Stephen Hyde. He's coming in from the CIA, all right? And then we got John Spencer, who played Leo McGarry in The West Wing.
Okay.
Great character actor. He's also in The Rock, if anyone. He's like one of the guys around the.
Okay.
He's the Secretary of State. All right. So he's kind of the voice to the White House in this. We're not gonna meet the president. Voice to the White House. All right. And they're like, we're gonna put together a field operation to get her back. All right. So he's like, what the fuck? No. We need to pay them right now. So obviously this guy also is a big sports gambler. Right. Yeah. So he goes to his bookie and he's like, I'm gonna take a fucking line. Who's his bookie? A little known actor Philip Hoffman at the time.
Spitting out
before he's known as Philip Seymour Hoffman, obviously. Yeah. He's about to get into Boogie Nights here, or is this the year of Boogie Nights?
97, yeah.
97. All right, but he's got a little more of an outsized role here. Baldwin,
yeah.
They know each other now from The Getaway.
They're buddies.
And he's like, dude, I'm not giving you any more credit, man. You know, you're already $500K in the hole, or there's a crazy amount in the hole.
Yeah.
Not gonna get any more credit. So he's out of fucking options, all right? So then he comes clean to Sigourney Weaver. We're having an affair, all right? This is going to get out if you guys don't pay them right now. And Sigourney Weaver's like, I fucking know. And we're still going in there with the stealth team, all right? So they got this capture going on. They're ready to invade the place. They send him in. The capture fails. The SEAL team doesn't get them, all right? They have to abort. They have a false entryway into the compound where she was. But being a newsman, we got cameras that aren't the U.S. government's cameras. And Baldwin gets some B-roll, all right? And he's like, hold up. How did they not know that entryway was not the right entryway? I mean, it's clearly right there. Like, what's going on here? That's when he gets a little suspicious. Would David Caruso and Leo McGarry, Leo McGarry, I'm just gonna call him Leo McGarry now from West Wing. And would the U.S. government have any reason to sabotage their own rescue mission on a U.S. journalist at this point? Is that why they're not paying the mill to get her back right now? I'm sorry. So then, I'm going so long on these. So then he kind of puts it together. That is what's going on.
Shit.
Because he's a journalist. He puts this stuff together.
Yeah. Because
they want to, this is kind of our first speech, Sigourney Weaver. It turns out she's in on it too. And they want Julianne Moore to be captured and killed by this rebel force right here. So the public perception changes and the U.S. government can go in and invade with a popular vote behind them. Wow. With Congress too, all right?
Okay.
And we're like, holy shit, massive conspiracy. So basically now, Tad Lawler, as Alec Baldwin, he's got to basically decide between telling the truth and ruining his reputation as a journalist or taking a payout from the network, but always being under the finger of Sigourney Weaver and losing the power and being a figurehead and a cardboard cutout of a journalist for the rest of his life and letting the woman he might love, I'm not sure if it's just kind of a side thing, die.
Wow.
So this is our speech, right? Get on the air. And he's talking to the hostages on the air. And we go full Denzel flight mode. Mm-hmm. You know, in Flight, where Denzel's at the FAA board meeting, he's like, I drink, I'm a drunk, right?
Yeah.
We go full Denzel mode. And Baldwin is like, I'm unfaithful in my marriage, you know? I'm a gambling addict. I'm not the newsman that you thought I was.
Wow.
But this network is about to let their own journalists die. And he exposes them on air. And he goes, I'm putting myself in debt to take her out. And he's wired the money already when he says this. And he puts the entire network on blast. He exposes the U.S. government in massive corruption, takes down his own network and his own reputation to get Melanie Heathowitz, played by Julianne Moore, out and free. That's Field Reporter right there.
Wow.
Oh, wait. And then the final scene, his only buddy left on Earth. It's Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, it is.
And then they're getting a drink after.
Oh, yeah.
And Philip Seymour Hoffman's like moved by this. And he's like, you know what? We're clean.
Wow.
Start over.
Dude.
Thank you.
I do love the idea of, I just always love it when the news, even though the news, the actual news isn't something I would ever watch.
Of course.
Like a guy on cable news. The idea of those guys is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Baldwin would play such a good news anchor because he has that inherent, he's kind of like David Muir, whatever, on that guy. You're just like, I want to trust this guy, but like he seems like kind of a showman, you know? Like, I bet at his heart he's a good dude, but I bet he also is fucking on the side.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of that, like how Nicholson is in broadcast news, where he's got like a little bit like, you're like, this guy, I want this guy to deliver the news to me. I don't know if I believe it. I don't know if this is true news or that whole fake news thing they talk about, but either way, I'm tuning in.
Yeah, Baldwin also had like a failed MSNBC show too.
Really?
Yeah, it was a talk show.
Cool.
He wrote about it in Vulture in 2014.
Well, good for him.
Anyway, sorry I went so long. This is the second week in a row. I've gone like 7 minutes.
Well, it disqualifies you, but that's all right.
Will already said that his is going to suck. So
who's going to win?
Is David Caruso too young by this point too?
No, he's all right.
He's right.
Yeah,
right there.
He's feeling good.
That's the guy that plays Joey on Family Matters or whatever.
No, that's David Coulier. David Caruso was from Homicide: Life on the Streets.
Oh. No, he's from
NYPD Blue. Thank you.
But he has already done William Friedkin's Jade, so he's
done Jade.
He's old enough.
Yeah, he's done Jade. He's about to do Proof of Life in 2000.
Wow.
And then he's going to go CSI and never work again.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did someone say Dixicle?
Will, are you ready?
Yep.
All right, let her rip.
The 90s. Hello. How we
Nirvana.
doing? Nirvana.
Clinton.
Fuck.
Chuck Klosterman.
The 90s. Books are big in the 90s.
They are.
The era of the big, best-selling, page-turning novelist really comes, maybe has its apex mountain, to coin a term from the Rewatchables. Hard to say. This is when James Patterson's coming up. This is when John Grisham's coming up.
Tom Clancy.
Tom Clancy's coming up at this time. And a fourth man, known as Nelson DeMille. Former New York detective turned author. This is not part of, I mean, this is the baseline for my pitch. Nelson DeMille wrote a book that was released in 1997 called Plum Island.
Oh.
Plum Island, to me, a book I have read, is the perfect opportunity for two things for Baldwin. One, to play a character I think he was genuinely born to do. And two, to get himself a series, a franchise of films. Because there have been 8 John Corey books, who is the main character of Plum Island. Plum Island, let me give you the logline for the book, which will become the movie, starring Alec Baldwin. Wounded in the line of duty, NYPD homicide cop John Corey is convalescing in rural Long Island when an attractive young couple he knows is found shot to death next door. The victims were biologists at Plum Island, a research site rumored to be an incubator for germ warfare. Suddenly, a local double murder takes on shattering global implications and thrusts Corey into a dangerous search for the secret of Plum Island. This book is, this kind of fish out of water cop. He's recently been wounded in the line of duty, like it says, and he's just chilling when a murder just happens to fall in his lap, and he's like, I got no better shit going on. I might as well solve this. And it's this local, it's Long Island, very local, small community in Long Island detective story. And the character of John Corey is perfect for Alec Baldwin because he's a piece of shit.
Whoa.
Sorry, Alec. Whoa. You know it. He's a piece of shit. He's super sarcastic, but he's also kind of lovable. You kind of can't help but like this guy. And he's got a love interest in this book, soon turned movie, called Beth Penrose. She's the local detective assigned to the case. She's looking for her first big break. She can never catch a break. Nothing ever happens in this town. Nobody dies in this town anymore. They used to. But nobody dies anymore. And Beth Penrose.
Deaths in this town.
We used to kill people.
Now
in this
everyone
town.
lives forever.
Beth Penrose is looking to put her stamp on the detective agency here in this small county. And that's going to be played by Jean Triplehorn. That was given to me by Matt. Jean Triplehorn of The Firm, of
Double Jeopardy.
Double Jeopardy.
Yeah. I think that's her.
And Beth Penrose, she's got an edge to her. She's sweet, but she's got an edge. And of course, she falls for John Corey, he's a fuck up, man. But he's also a genius. He's not Double Jeopardy.
Ashley Judd was in Double Jeopardy with Tom Lee.
Can I talk to you after this pitch is over? Alec Baldwin, he's out of shape. Not Alec Baldwin. Sorry, John Corey. He's out of shape. I mean, you could say the same for Alec. John Corey. He's out of shape. He's recovering from his wounds, but he's really sharp. He's got this street smarts. He's got this intellect on how to solve these cases. He's the perfect guy for this job. He's the right place, wrong time. Fish out of water. And if this thing blows up, like it will, we got 8 more of these. We can keep Alec Baldwin busy through the 2000s.
Oh, we don't want to take him away from 30 Rock.
You can do it on the side. And I want this to be directed by Richard Donner.
Yeah.
Lethal Weapon.
Superman.
He's been around the block, all right? And he's a perfect guy to bring that, because it has a very dry humor to it. And he's also got a great handle for action.
Oh, sorry, hold on.
This movie finishes with an epic boat chase as they're racing towards Plum Island to discover there's buried treasure in this story as well. So we come to find out that
Plum Island, a lot of plates in Plum Island.
Plum Island has got a lot of stuff going on. Okay. So this is Plum Island. It's based on a book that would become a New York Times bestseller in 1997. It's a page turner. It's not that deep.
Baldwin bought this off the galleys before it's published.
The publisher sent the manuscript to Baldwin.
Yeah, and Baldwin was like, "We're making this a movie."
Yeah, and he says, "If I'm not making this, Billy's making this."
Yeah, Ben Mesrich Sorkin style, you know?
Bingo.
Yeah, no one knows what I'm talking about.
No.
Now. It's very Night Moves-esque a little bit.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I like it. That's beautiful.
It's a cool story. I read the book.
I really like it. I love the idea of a mystery.
Let's get him back to Massapequa, too.
You know, right?
I know it's Matt. Give it to Matt.
But you know why, right?
Well,
Why?
you don't like adaptations.
You also didn't do a speech.
Oh, yeah. Here, you want it?
Well,
You don't care?
You go ahead.
He's like, "Are you Gene Triplehorn or Ashley Judd?"
If this is really good, can I win?
Yes.
Okay.
This is good. Can I leave?
This is John Corey. Drunk. At the local Watron Hole up in Long Island. Let's call it the Pirates Tavern.
It's on Long Island.
No, I was a cop. Hell, I guess I still am. Couple of those dirty. I can't say it in here.
Just say it.
Put one right here in the rib. Right here. One in the back of the shoulder. I see him every night. I can't stop thinking about him. But you know what? Fuck him. I got to be here. In the greatest city in the world.
Plum Island.
What the hell's going on over there at Plum Island?
Is that how it ends? Or there's more? No, keep going.
I got 2 more minutes.
Okay, go ahead. You're good.
I'm going to filibuster until I win.
I am God.
Sometimes I wonder if what's going on at Plum Island isn't meant to be known. You got any more O'Douls in the back? Maybe I need to switch. You know, I've been drinking a long time.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm John Corey. I never met you. It becomes a two-hander thing.
My name's Billy Baldwin.
Billy Baldwin. That's a good name.
I was just gonna let you go until you felt like that.
I was gonna let you go until you got to ask him how many shots of bourbon he had before he cut me open.
Before he cut me open. I'm done.
All right, so Matt. What the? Congratulations.
Yeah, woo!
You know, you think because you had a little birthday 2.5 weeks ago, you think you call the shots.
I will say, I gave you Gene Triplehorn, but give me a director, because I think I forgot to mention a director on mine. Thinking maybe Bigelow.
Should be good.
Should be interesting.
Good.
It's not as visual as I think she wants. I think McTiernan could also do this too if they want to get back together.
Yeah. McTiernan, Philip Noyce. I love throwing Noyce in there. Feels like Noyce.
Have I seen a Noyce movie other than the what do you call it? The second Jack Ryan movie. Noyce. Yeah.
Have you seen The Bone Collector? cut
I'll
The
be
Bone
honest,
Collector recently.
I haven't collected any bones. Yeah.
And I don't think you have.
Why am I forgetting the name of the sequel, Clear and Present Danger?
Patriot Games?
Well, no, sorry.
That's
It
flipped.
was Philip Noyce directed Clear and Present Danger.
And Patriot Games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa. All right. And with that,
Take Noyce and get out of here.
Yeah,
Take your win on the road.
We finish our Philip Noyce episode.
Yeah.
I thought this was a lot of fun, though. Tanner, thank you for having us pitch Baldwin today.
Yeah.
Freaking Kobe.
I hope you had a happy birthday.
Yeah.
2.5 weeks ago. I know you went to Six Flags.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all time.
Yeah.
And just a programming announcement. F1 is coming out next week, but we're unsure if we're gonna do a Brad Pitt episode for that movie. Just due to some studio scheduling stuff, we might delay it till the next week. I just want to get ahead of the 8 ball on that.
Yeah, we know people are going
sure
to be
yet.
in our fucking comments.
We're not
sure. 4th of July is coming in hot, and that's
It's a 50-50 chance.
That spells vacation troubles,
yeah.
travel.
But we'll get something in next week for sure.
You'll love it.
Yeah.
You'll love it. You dirty piggies.
We're pitching Social Network Part 2. That'd be a funny one.
Yeah.
We pitched Part 2.
We can do it.
Yeah.
Well, Tanner, we'll let you get to work.
Yeah, man. Right on time.
And thank you guys for listening.
Yeah. See if I have a parking ticket outside.
Yeah, I don't think so. Alec Baldwin.
Alec Baldwin.
Stay thirsty,
you.
my friends.
Yes.
Thank you.